You want to live a life of breakthrough and victory. I know you do. If so, you have to take this seriously. In the same way a runner who's going to win the Olympics has to take it seriously, the goal of winning, and apply it in every part of their life to the goal. If you're not focused, you're not going to have the power that you're supposed to have. You're going to be coming against a wall and not going through it. You're not going to break through it. You won't have the power. Or here's another way of being unfocused. You're uncertain. You don't have certainty. You're wavering back and forth. You waver back and forth. Elijah said, how long are you going to waver between two opinions? If you're wavering back and forth all the time, you're not going to have focus. And you're not going to have victory. He said, make up your mind if Baal is God or the Lord is God. Make up your mind. Go one way or the other. The Lord said, don't be lukewarm. Choose which one you want to be, hot or cold, but make up your mind. Joshua, choose you this day whom you will serve. But as for me and my house, I will serve the Lord. Choose. That word choose, you get decision. Decision, cut. The power of decision is linked to the power of incision. Decide. A focused blade comes together into a single point. A single mind. Here's another one. Are you double-minded? You're not going to have success. Make up your mind, because you're going to have only a single mind. Single-mindedness is linked to focus, and focus is linked to victory. Single-mindedness is linked to victory. When you're single-minded, you do more with less effort, or you do greater things with the same effort. You know, because if you're divided back and forth, you're going this way and this way, it's like two movers trying to move a piano both ways. Each way, or they're going each way. So you're not only, it's bad enough you're on half your strength, but you're fighting yourself, so it's like zero strength. You can't be focused without direction. Paul said, I don't run without aim, and I press on to the goal. The dull acts, the dull life spends a lot of energy without getting a lot of fruit, without being victorious. It's like hitting your head against a wall. A dull axe will hit against the wood and could bounce back because it can't do it. Well, if you're always coming against the same thing, if you're always banging against a wall, you're coming against the same thing, it's a sign of something. The Bible gives examples of people who were not focused. Eli, his family was compromised. It ended up failure. He lost the ark. Samson, you think of Samson, you think of a real strong person. Our picture of Samson is like Arnold Schwarzenegger Jewish. That's kind of our picture. But the Bible actually never says that. It never says that. It never says he looked any different from me or you. In fact, if he, I brought this up, if he looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger, it wouldn't be a miracle that he was strong. Probably God just came upon him. Nevertheless, with all that power, he messed up. He totally blew it. He was in the Lord, outside of the Lord, mostly outside. What he did, the only thing he had to do was a Nazirite. He had to that's a focused person. A Nazirite is someone who's dedicated to God. And what they did is they grew their hair long, and they didn't touch wine, and they didn't cut their hair, and they did that, and they were to be holy to the Lord. The book of Samson is him breaking every part of the Nazirite vow until finally his hair. And so he wasn't focused, he wasn't single-minded, he was double-minded. So his strength, the strong man's strength, was dissipated, and he fell. King David was focused, but at one point he lost his focus. At one point it says when kings go to war, the time when they're really focused, he wasn't focused, he stayed behind, and then he fell. Solomon started out great, had everything. We don't know if Solomon was saved. I mean, he was at the beginning. But it says when he was old, his wives turned his heart away. He lost focus. He married women. He shouldn't have married women to begin with. He should have married one woman, but he married many women, and he married women who were worshiping other gods, and he went that way. With all he knew, he was double-minded. Demas, Paul said, he has left me because he chose the world. He was double-minded. James says the double-minded cannot expect to get from God. If you have two axes, one is dull, the other sharp, which one are you going to use? So if you have two people, two believers, one is sharp in the Lord, focused, the other is double, is not focused, which one is God going to use? Now, in his mercy, he can use that dull one, but he's going to naturally use the one who is focused for his purposes. The young David was focused. And when he stood against Goliath, he was, you know what? Goliath was so gigantic and he was so small compared. But you know what? He was single-minded for God. And he was single-minded, and so everything was focused. He took those stones, focused right into his head. So with focus, even those who are weak in themselves can become mighty. Mighty. Messiah, he was the sharpest one. His whole life was lived with one focus, one heart, one mind, nothing. No wavering. He set his heart on Jerusalem because that was his goal, to give his life. Paul was a real focused guy. Focused heart, focused mind, focused course. It's like everything he did, and now listen, he wasn't perfect like anyone, none of us are perfect. And I'm sure he had his moments, but he lived, it's like everything he did was for the gospel. He said, whatever I do, by all means, I will to win over who I can. I will use everything I can for salvation, for Messiah. When they tried to stop him, he couldn't be stopped. He was like a laser beam. No matter what, this is my cause. He was single-minded for God. When the believers tried to stop him, they said, Paul, you can't go to Jerusalem. You're going to be killed. He says, well, I'm fine with that. I'm here to do, my goal is not to stay alive. My goal is to glorify God. And even when he's on trial, he uses the trial to witness to his persecutors. And then he appeals to Caesar, so he goes to Caesar and he can witness in Rome. He never got sidetracked. He kept on piercing, never got off. And he had he had a lot of stuff. He had people in the church, in the body, talking against him. You see 2 Corinthians, he didn't let it stop him. He had people sworn to kill him, and it didn't let him stop. He was like a knife cutting through, piercing through everything. And look what he accomplished. Now, if you could take that power, what if you could take that power and apply it to your life? It would change your life for victory. Do you want to live a life of power? You want to live a life of breakthrough and victory? I know you do. If so, you have to take this seriously. In the same way, a runner who's going to win the Olympics has to take it seriously, the goal of winning, and apply it in every part of their life to the goal. First, take inventory. You have to, if you look at your life, and whatever is not sharp or focused, whatever is not consistent with your goal and your calling in God, that's dulling you. Whether it's a sin, whether it's an attitude, whether it's a distraction, whether it's an idol, whatever is not consistent, not one with the purpose that God has called you to, that's dulling your edge. And that's making you less effective and weakening you. Get it out. For instance, Samson, going out with Delilah, not a good idea. It was not consistent with his calling. Nor was drinking wine, nor was all that. Actually, almost nothing was consistent. He would have been better off simply turning away from the beginning. Paul had such a high calling that many things would not be consistent because it was so high. But I believe God has given you a high calling. Sin, of course, takes away. Sin, of course, makes you waver. But also there may be other things that might not be called sin, but they're not God's will for Paul or for you. Could be wasting your time, wasting your energy, wasting your focus, distracting you, and the enemy uses it. Paul had to turn away from what was not God's best. Hi, I'm Jonathan Cahn, and I hope you were blessed with the video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you're notified every time a new video is posted. Feel free to share your reactions with your comments and how you were blessed, and share this video with your friends. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.